thank you, Father Sarin, for this golden opportunity for me to have this platform and to learn and improve our knowledge together as well as empower each other. And thank you for all the admin panels for immense support and guidance. So let's begin our session for today. My name is Lilly Anthony from Edu Skills International. Today I am dealing with OET Listening Module Part B. So I know that all of you know about this listening part B. Regarding the score, that I know that all of you know it, but to just glance for me for to just go through this one. Never ever think about this score for 350. So always you look for this score A grade. Okay, so you will get a decided score and you can crack your OET. So for this grade A is the 450 to 500 and grade B is the 350 to 440, C plus is 300 to 340, C is 200 to 290 and the D grade and the E grade is 100 to 190 and 0 to 190. So what are the things we need to while doing the listening? There is certain strategies to do this listening practice. There is step by step. First one is do the test under the exam condition. That means think about that you are doing the exam. So like that you approach the listening. And then step 2, refer the key and identify the mistakes. So after listening the audio, just refer the keys and what are the mistakes you made it, just to identify all these things. Step 3, record your score on self-assessment form. It is a very, very important thing to record your score on self-assessment form. If you don't have, then from the Edu Skills platform, you can find it that one. Then step 4, listen the audio again and try to identify the answers and the related strategies. Then step 5, listen the audio plus read the script on the time itself and mark the answers and highlight the related strategies. The related strategies we will teach you right now. Then step 6, detailed analysis of the audio and the script to understand the strategies involved. Then step 7, analytically listen to the same audio repeatedly for a week. If you follow these steps, definitely you can crack the listening module. This is applicable for not only for the B part, all the this one listening A is a part A, part B, and part C. If we are doing this listening, do these steps. So do the smart work, not the hard work. Of course, you need hard work, but do it smartly. Am I clear? Is it?
Yes, sister.
Okay. So go to the listening B. For listening B, there will be 6 dialogues or monologues and 3 options, that is MCQs, and choose the correct answer from these 3 options. It will take almost 10 minutes. What is the exam format for the part B? First one is the introduction of the topic. Introduction means if before starting the audio, they will give some introduction about the topic. Please listen that one carefully so we will get some idea what they are going to tell on the audio. Then you will get 15 seconds. That is the golden second, golden minute you need to utilize this correctly. Then you check for the question and the answer option during that time. Then understand the large part of the audio. By listening the audio, understand what they are telling about through this audio. Then 5 seconds they will give to mark the answer. Then be guided by the questions. Guided by the questions means that the keywords and key phrases we need to underline in the questions, and there will be 3 possible answers. Correct. Choose the correct answer and circle the answer. Then next one is what are the types of questions they are giving in the part B. wherever whatever the questions, almost all the questions will be the same. In these three parts, it will give the first questions will be the gist. Gist means the total meaning of the extract. So they are telling who is discussing, then who is the discussion partner, and what are they discussing. That is the topic. So it may be the doctors or the nurses or the hospital managers. Somebody is there. There will be two persons, and they will discuss about the topic. So we need to understand from the audio while carefully listening the audio. Understand what who is the discussion, who is starting the discussion, and who is the discussion partner, and what they are discussing. The second one is the detail. So the detail means they are giving some problems and or concerns. What they are telling the audio, for what reason they are telling, that is the detail. Maybe they are telling about the symptoms or reason or solution. Then the third one is course of action. So if they are telling any symptom, what we need to do to reduce that symptoms. So what is the action for that one? That is the third one. Third one. So this is by the nurse, doctor, or manager. So if there will be any procedure or any will be medication or treatment, what else they are telling, we need to understand from the audio. Then while listening the audio, what are the things we need to do? Skim and scanning we need to do. So first one, understand the context. Context means what they are telling for what. For example, maybe they are telling this ophthalmology related to symptoms. This ophthalmology is like that. Then main idea. What is the main problem they are telling about? That is the main idea. Then what is the purpose of that talking? Then understand what is this is the opinion of the speaker or attitude of the speaker. We need to understand from the audio. And look for the any synonyms. We could not predict all the same words will come on the test. There will be synonyms. Under the synonyms, language, paraphrasing, keywords, relationship between ideas or sequencing, chronology or time expression, suggestions, reasons, scale or prioritize, frequency, comparison and contrast, and negative meanings. So we need to listen all these things carefully and skim all these things through the audio while listening. The next one is the strategies and tips to explain this skimming and scanning. That is the synonyms. So, for example, to kill. There are 5 types of synonyms for this word kill. That means Saddam Hussein was dashed, the soldier was dashed, he was. This is all the synonyms of this word kill. So we can see what are they. See, if this use the kill, the Saddam Hussein was executed. That is the synonym of kill. Then the next one is the soldier was killed in action. Then he was murdered by his neighbor. Indira Gandhi was assassinated by the terrorist. The sheep was slaughtered by the man. We could not use the slaughter here in the Saddam Hussein because this is used for the animals. So this is a synonym of the kill. So we need to understand all these things while listening the audio. So method to make a diary for the synonyms. Whenever you are listening the audio, so if you don't know that word, write it on the diary and look for the synonyms of that word. So it will be easy for you during the examination. Then our next one is the scale. Scale is the most important thing. It will also help you to select the correct answer. So maybe you see the all, most, many, a few, some, or few. These words on your test or in the listen on the audio. So if you see all these things, it will help you to almostly near to this word this answer will be. So listen carefully all these things, all these scales. So all is not the same about the most. The most is not same about many. Many is not same a few or some, or a few is not same as few. This few is there is nothing. If you say something else, or many is more than that. There more than 2 is all many, and the most is almost 90%, and all is 100%. See also the another scale. You can see this one is the same as previously. We just give the figures It is not 100. It is nearby that one. We can just for your understanding, we just write 100, 90%, 80%, 70% like that. Okay. So you can see that everyone always speak well of Mark. They're telling that is the 100%. Always means almost 100%. The usually is almost 90%, and generally is almost 80%. 70 often is almost 70%. Sometimes is almost 50%. Occasionally is almost 30%, and seldom is almost 15%. Rarely is almost 5%, and never is 0%. This is the another scale we can see. If you see all these words, you can understand that how much is that. So through these things, you can analyze the paragraph and you can select the correct answer. So this is the another example for the scale, that is the always, sometimes, occasionally. Now I think you know what is the person for this one. So if there is a test, they are giving always, and in the question they are asking sometimes. So it is not the same. So please listen this one carefully while answering your question. This is the another scale for the scale. All mostly means almost 70 to 90%. Majority is above 50, and many is more than one. Then a pure sum or pure little. Pure little means nothing. A pure sum means something. Then next one is synonyms. There are a lot of synonyms. We know that one. So for there is some examples for the nouns. That means if there is chance, maybe in the test you can see the chance, but in the audio maybe they are telling likelihood. That means this is a similar to chance. Then area, maybe in the test you can see the area, but in the audio maybe they are telling district. So we need to understand this one. Then antique is the ancient, choice is the decision, and elegant is beautiful. So if you understand this one, so we can and get the correct answer. So synonyms is very, very important. So I am requesting you to do this one small diary for your synonyms, which will helpful for you to correct the answer and crack your OET. Then next is synonyms. This is for adjectives. Synonyms for adjectives. That is, maybe you can see brave officer in the test, and maybe in the audio they are telling, the speaker is telling about the courageous officer. So maybe in the answer options, maybe you can see courageous officer. Question they are telling brave officer. So if it is there, you can choose the correct answer. Same like beneficial effect, advantageous effect, different design, dissimilar design, elderly patient, older patient, and significant features and special features. This is the same, but the meaning and all same, but the things meaning is same for this one, but the word is different. So we need to understand. We need to know this is the same. The next one is the sequential linkage or chronology or time expressions. So while speaking, the speaker is speaking, they will use some to begin with firstly. This is the starting of the paragraph. Then for the next sentence, they will use next. Then after that, afterwards, that is they are giving the another idea. So if we say listen these words, so we can understand that they are going to another idea. Or another topic. So it will be easy for us to understand, especially for the listening part C and the reading part C. So for the example, that they will start with the firstly, the clay is dug out of the ground. This is the one idea they are giving. They are using for this one for the brick making. So starting with the firstly, this is the first thing is that clay is dug out from the ground. The next thing is the nest. Nest is used there. So what they are doing for the nest, so we can understand they are going to do something else after that. So next, put on the metal grid or molded into the correct brick shape. So first they will dig the clay, and then next thing is that they are putting in the metal grid or molded to correct the brick shape. After this, so two things is finished. They are going to tell the next step. After this, the bricks are placed in an oven to dry over a period of 1 to 2 days. Then, before the next idea, they are put into the clean to be baked. The bricks are dry. The baking start at medium heat. They telling about the process. This one. So until this one, they are telling this sequentially. Firstly, they are taking the clay. Then next they put it on the mold, or after that they place it in a dry oven. And before that, they will put it clean to bricks become dried. Then they are telling about the process. Then the next thing is afterwards. Afterwards means there is going to be finalized. When the bricks are folded, the process take place, and finally, finally, the last thing loaded into the lorry to be delivered to the construction industry. So these words are very important, especially in the listening part C and the reading part C. This is very useful to understand the paragraph. So we need, the next thing is modal verb. Modal verb is also very important in the, especially in the reading part C and the listening part C. So these things we can understand the speaker's opinion or speaker's attitude through these words. So we know that can is the present thing and could is the past thing. So we can understand what is that. This is the ability, possibility, or permission. And if there is may or might, it is telling about the possibility. If there is should, it is used for the advice or recommendation or suggestion. So must is the necessity or obligation. The details of modal verb. For the ability, we can use can or could. If the speaker about talking about any ability or anything, he will talk about the, he will use the can or could. So we can see that is the ability. So that is, for example, that David can speak 3 languages. This is the ability of that person. He could speak fluent French when he was 5. This is also telling about his ability. So for the permission, we can use can, could, may. That may, for example, can I sit in that chair, please? Or could I open the window? May I borrow your dictionary? So these are things for the permission. Can, could, or may, all we can use for the permission. For the advice, we can use should. If we say should in this your paragraph, that is the advice from the author or for the speaker. You should visit your dentist at least twice a year. This is a suggestion or the advice. That means there is a necessary to see the dentist. But the thing is that is up to us. Either we can see the doctor or we cannot. We don't need to see the doctor. But this is the advice that should visit the dentist, or you should try to lose weight. Either you can lose the weight or no need, but this is a suggestion only from this speaker. They are telling the suggestion through this should. Obligation, but obligation is the different. Must or have to, it is very important to follow. If there is any rule, we need to follow this one. If there is must or have to, for example, I must memorize all of these rules about the tenses. This is very important. Otherwise, we could not speak in English very well. Then you have to take off your shoes before you get into the mosque. This is their rules. So we need to follow these rules. Then possibility. For the possibility, they will use might, may, can, could. If you see this thing, maybe it is the possibility. For example, it looks nice, but it might be very expensive. And Richard may be coming to see us tomorrow. So these things showing this the ability, the possibility. It is this thing is happening in the future. So how to analyze the paragraph? Always father is telling about this paragraph analyzing. Through this reading the paragraph, each sentence, we can understand what they are telling about from these sentences. So for that one, for example, it's written trees are lovely. So trees are lovely means that is the opinion. This is the opinion of the person, that author or any speaker, that one. Then they make oxygen. That is the fact. All we know that the trees are making oxygen through the photosynthesis. So this is the fact. There is no change. That's why it's fact. So which is necessary for life? Which is necessary for life? That is the benefit. Because all we know that oxygen is very important to live. So that is the benefit from the tree we are getting. They are making the oxygen. That's why it is beneficial for our life. Then we should all plant one. That is the suggestion or advice. We should plant. We should all plant one tree. Then it could change cities. That is the speculation. We don't know it will happen or what, but it may happen in the future. That is the speculation. By providing more shade, it is also a benefit. And India is planting trees. They are giving some example for this one. This trees, India is planting tree to replace it old ones. To replace it old ones, that is the reason. Why India is planting trees? To replace it old ones. So through like this, we can analyze each sentence in the paragraph. So, what about the listening part B? What is the main strategy for this part B? We are using, father is taught us, that is the QAL method. QAL method, Q is the question and the A is the answer and the L is the audio. Carefully listen the audio, that is the L. So while you listen audio, you just to understand, identify the topic. Where they are talking about the what idea they are telling. Then identify the structure of the paragraph, then nature of the topic and the focus of the audio or test. This one is applicable for the reading as well. Then pre-listening strategies. We need 15 seconds for the each questions and for the 90 seconds for the total question. Then look at the context. Then notice the structure, how they are telling about the or each sentences and the idea. Then read the question stems carefully. While you are getting the time, just read the question stems. There will be nouns or verb or anything else. Just underline that one and understand what is the stem words. Then read the options and notice the differences. There will be the options they will give and differences. Just notice the differences. Then underline the keywords, that is verbs and nouns, etc. Then what is the strategies for listening? Focus on the main idea of the communication. Then pay attention to signal words used to emphasize the key. That means they are giving yeah or yeah, it's very important. Like that, they are giving some emphasizing key signal words that even we need to understand. Then synonyms. Then pull out incorrect answers. We can use the elimination strategies. So while listening the audio, we can understand that this option is not telling about in the audio. So we can rule out that one and select the correct answer. So listening start. They look at the context. Context means the introduction. They will in the introduction they will tell what they are telling about the topic. In the beginning itself they will tell about what is the topic. That is the context. The structure, notice the structure or sequence. So listen for keywords. If there is any modal word or anything else, we just understand the keyword. Then signal words. Then key points on paragraph structure. If you did not understand, skip that one. Don't stick on that question. Again, what is the focus? Idea of or topic sentence. Maybe there is any definition or description. What they are telling about it, that is the topic sentence. Then they will explanation. They will give. So that is called a supporting sentence. So they are explaining about the topic sentence. Then next one is the evidence, that they are giving the examples or illustrations about the main idea to support the main idea. Well, they will preface it in the conclusion. So we can use this wheel method to understand the paragraph. P is for point. Point means main idea or topic sentence. Then explanation. They are giving about the explanation or their supporting sentence. Through the supporting sentence, they are explaining what is that main idea. Then they are providing some examples only. This is called a field method. It will be very beneficial to understand the paragraph. Then know the format. So carefully listening the task. Then identify the detailed meaning and opinion. So there will be three options. This is the multiple choice questions. Then choose the correct answer from these three options. What is the core skills? Again, understand the main idea of the communication and understand the purpose of communication. Then in the audio, we can understand speaker's opinion. What they are telling speakers, this is the opinion or attitude or suggestion or reason. We need to understand all these things while listening the audio. From the question itself, we can understand if it is reason. They will tell why. Why is the reason? So if you can see any because means there is some cause and effect, that is the because of something else it's happened like that. So we can understand from the question itself what they are asking. So please understand all these keywords. Let's scan the question and answer. That is organization or structure or sequence of the test. Through this question, we can see quickly look through the question and answers to understand how the audio is organized or what it's about it, and to identify the main idea or topic of each idea. The next one is the structure. The part B all it's about one is the small extract, and the first one they are telling the main idea or the point. Or maybe about the problems, or maybe they are telling about the reasons discussed. If there is reasons in the options, they will give three reasons. We need to find out which is the correct reason they are explained in the audio or in the paragraph. Then paragraphs or dialogue structure. So we can say first they will tell about the topic sentence, that is the point or main idea or the gist. Then providing the explanation through the supporting sentence to explain the main idea. Then the third one is they are giving some examples or illustrations to illustrate the main idea, to support the main idea. Then lastly they will come to the conclusion, that is link the main idea repeated. So so we can go to today's topic, listening part B. Here we can see that you hear it in this. Somebody can read this question.
You hear a dentist discussing booking problems with her receptionist. What has caused the problem? A. An error with the booking system. B. A double booked appointment. C. A lack of communication.
Okay. You see, in the question itself, you can see who is speaking here.
Dentist.
Yeah, dentist. Yeah, what he is doing? What he is doing? Discussing. Right? Yeah. Discussing about what? What is the topic?
Booking problem.
Booking problems. So dentist is discussing. So we can say who is speaking? Dentist. And what he is doing? He is discussing about what? Booking problems. To whom? Yeah,
receptionist. With the receptionist.
Yes, his receptionist. So from this question we understood they are talking about the booking problems. Who is speaking? A dentist is speaking, and to his her receptionist. So from the question itself we understand what they are going to talk. They are going to talk about booking problem. Okay. So what is the question? What has caused the problem? What has caused the problem? They are asking about the cause. That means some reason. There will be some reason, okay, for this problem. So the option is telling an error with the booking system and a double booked appointment, a lack of communication. So what are the keywords here? Communication, double booked appointment, error with the booking system.
Hey Kieran, Mr. Lau just mentioned that he'd tried to reschedule his appointment yesterday, first online, and then when that didn't work, he called up. But apparently he couldn't reschedule. Any idea why?
I wasn't working yesterday, but let me check the notes. So Lana left a note about the call. She says that Mr. Lau wanted to reschedule, but we didn't have any other appointments this week after 3 p.m., which is the only time he could make. He asked if he could make an appointment next week, but his procedure was marked on our system as urgent, so she had to make it in the same week. The system wouldn't have let her reschedule it any later. She wouldn't have had the authorization to change that. Still, she should have discussed this with you at lunch or at the end of the day, because then you could have decided whether it could have been postponed for a week.
Yeah. In his circumstance, it would have been fine to reschedule at a slightly later date. We should prevent something like this from happening again.
You're right. I'll talk to her about it tomorrow, and I'll send out an email to everyone else so that they're aware.
So I hope all of you hear that one.
Sister.
So what will be the answer? Did you hear that audio?
Lack of communication.
Option C.
A lack of
Lack of
communication.
communication.
Yeah, okay. We will see how it will be this answer, lack of communication. If we go through the script, we can see that you hear a dentist discussing booking problems with their receptionist. So, first, the doctor is telling that her receptionist, take period, Mr. Law just mentioned that he had tried to reschedule this appointment yesterday, first online, and then when that didn't work, he called up. But apparently, he couldn't reschedule. Any idea what? That is the reason. So here is asking about the reason what caused the problem. So, yeah, then the receptionist telling, I was not working yesterday, but let me check the note. So, Landa, this is the another receptionist who was the working yesterday, left a note about the call. She says that Mr. Law wanted to reschedule, but we didn't have any another. We didn't have any other appointment this week after 3 p.m., which is the only time he could make. Then he asked if he could make an appointment next week, but this procedure was marked down our system as urgent. So he had to make it in the same week. The system wouldn't have let her to reschedule it any later. So here he's make the note that the person is called for the reschedule. He wants to make it after 3 p.m. but after 3 p.m. there is no appointment. Then she could not change it on the next week because it is make as urgent. So make the appointment on the same day, same week itself. Then, but he said that is what he said, she wouldn't have the authorization to change, and the receptionist also has the no authorization. But there is again telling that is still is the key point here. Still means that is the possibility. She should have discussed this with you at the lunch or at the end of the day. That means there is again possibility if she discussed it. She didn't discuss actually. So if she discussed that one, they can make it. They can make some changes on this one, and they can postpone for a week. If she discuss about the doctor about this problem, but she didn't discuss. That is the phrase we are using. She should have discussed that one, this with you at lunch or at the end of the day, because then you could have decided whether it could be seen postponed for a week. Then the doctor is telling, yeah, in these circumstances, it would have been fine to reschedule at a slightly later date. We should prevent something like this from happening again. Then he is telling that you are right. I will talk to her about it tomorrow, and I will send out an email to everyone else so that they can aware this one. So from these words, we can understand that this is the lack of communication. If she talk, they're asking three options. One is the error with the booking system. So they didn't tell about any error in the booking system. Option D is telling double booked appointment. It was also, they did not mention here double booked appointment. Only see lack of communication. Why? How we understood what is the lack of communication? From this phrase. Still, she should have discussed. If she discussed about this one, that one, they can make there will be no problem. But she did not discuss. That's why there was a problem. So So skim the audio. We can see the topic sentence, the reschedule, because there is reschedule is coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times is coming. This is the key phrase or keyword that we called in topic word, and a topic sentence about the appointment yesterday. Then the stem word is called the reason. What is the reason? They are asking about the reason. It's the what. Then she should have discussed. That is the meaning of lack of communication. That is the option 3, lack of communication. And still is also a keyword because this is the possibility to reschedule. They are telling about the possibility. So I hope it's understood, all of you. Am I right?
It's clear.
Then the next question. Could you any one of you please read this question?
After discussing chest X-ray information with a medical student, what is the doctor explaining? Option A, the order for discussing result to the patient. Option B, the information to include in the patient notes. Option C, how to correctly examine the patient's condition.
Okay. You see who is speaking here?
A doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah. What he is discussing, that is the chest X-ray
Chest X-ray
information.
information.
Yeah. He is discussing about the chest X-ray information. The topic is chest X-ray information. So, to whom he is speaking?
Medical student.
Medical student. So, the topic will be the chest X-ray information and the doctor is discussing. So, the question is, what is the doctor is explaining? So, the doctor is explaining something about the chest X-ray information. So, what is the doctor is explaining? The options are, option A is the order for discussing results to the patient. Option B, the information to include in patient notes. Option C, how to correctly examine the patient's condition. So through this X-ray information, what he is explaining: order for patient result and the information to include the patient note, how to correctly examine the patient condition. So please think about this one. Through this chest X-ray information, we can see this, how correctly examine the, then all this we can see that through the chest X-ray information, he can tell how correctly examine the patient's condition, or information include patient note and order for discussing results to the patient. These are the keywords. So we can hear the audio. We will go to the audio now and please listen carefully.
You hear a doctor discussing chest X-ray information with a medical student.
Hey, Dr. Yan, we've got the x-rays back from Mr. Regis in bed 8 from this morning.
Great. Can you document them in the notes?
Do you mind showing me how to write the interpretation properly?
Of course. Make sure you put the patient details. Full name, date of birth, patient number, and home address first. Then put the hospital and ward, date, and time. Make sure your name is on the document, too. Include the indication for the x-ray like hemoptysis or dyspnea before documenting your interpretation. Now, I use a simple mnemonic to make sure I don't miss anything. A, B, C, D, E. Airway, trachea, carina, bronchi, and the hilar structures. Breathing, lung fields and pleura. Cardiac, heart size and heart borders. Diaphragm, position, shape, and costophrenic angles. Finally, everything else, the mediastinal contours, bones and tubes, or devices. Make sure you document everything clearly using this system in the notes.
Okay, from the audio, what did you understand? The doctor is discussing about the chest X-ray information with a medical student. The medical student that we have got the X-rays back for Mr. Regis in bed 8 from this morning. Great. Can you document them in the notes? So in the beginning itself, what he is telling? Can you
Documentation.
document them in the notes? So what is the topic? Where is the document? You can see the document is it's repeatedly coming in this audio. Your name is put the hospital ward and date and time. This is a synonym of documentation. That is means patient details. Then your name is on the document and documenting the interpretation. Then document everything clearly. So document is coming repeatedly. That is the keyword. Okay. So you can see that. Do you mind showing me how to write the interpretation? So the question itself we can understood. What is the answer? Information to include the patient note, because he is asking about, do you mind show me how to write the interpretation? What is the interpretation? Showing how to write the interpretation. How to interpretation. That means how to write the information in the patient note. Is that clear?
Yes, sister.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, then he is telling that make sure put the patient details. Patient detail is the patient notes, full name, date of birth, patient number and home address first. Then put the hospital and what, date and time. Then make sure your name is on the document too. Include the indication for the X-ray like hemoptysis or dyspnea before documenting your interpretation. Now I use a simple mnemonic to make sure I don't miss anything. That is ABCD. He is giving some idea how to document it. That airway, that is called trachea, carina, bronchi, and the hilar structures. The breathing is including lung field and pleura. Cardiac, that is heart size and heart rates. Then diaphragm, position, shape, and costophrenic angles. Then finally everything else. The mediastinal counters, bonds, and tubes or the device. Make sure you document everything. Again, he is stressing that. Make sure that you document everything clearly using this system in the note. So that student is asking about what? How to interpret, how to document the interpretation, how to write. Write means document interpretation properly. So he is explaining about the information to include the patient note. Option A is telling the order for discussing results to the patient. He is telling about the order for discussing the results to the patient here regarding this ABCD, but it is not the topic sentence, right? Then option C is telling how to correctly examine the patient's condition. This is they did not tell about how to correctly examine the patient condition. So option B is the correct one. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sister.
Okay. So skim the audio. That is a synonym that the document means the patient notes. The keyword or key phrase is the document. Here is the, we can see the modal verb can and chronology time expression, that is finally. So this is the end of section. Thank you.